Is the CIS main battle tank, the AAT, still viable? Short answer, yes. The long answer is the CIS as an army, points-wise, support having these big units. It's easy to fit these in without sacrificing much in other parts of your list. And then stats-wise, you have a 9 health armor unit with red dice saves. Armor makes it so your opponent needs criticals to land a hit, and after that, needs to get through red dice saves, which is a 50% chance of saving. On average, your opponent is going to need to roll 18 criticals to take down your tank. Now, if your opponent brings a decent amount of impact, it does make it less daunting to tank down, but every time you roll a block with your red dice, your opponent is gonna feel it. Every shot they make on your tank, it's gonna hurt their morale. In their heads, they'll be thinking, I just spent this whole activation to do nothing. And if they're focusing their entire army on your tank, then that means they aren't shooting the rest of your army, which helps you run away with objectives and get closer with melee, or bring your units around to flank your opponent's units out of cover. Now that we've talked about the defensive profile, we should talk about the offensive profile. The main laser cannon is a 4 red dice, critical 2, high velocity, impact 1, with close range lasers being 3 black dice, with also the option to add 2 rocket upgrades. To be honest, you're probably never going to use the close range laser. That's there if you made a mistake or a lightsaber decided to charge you. What we mainly focus on is the main gun and how it pairs with the unit's special ability, Barrage. The ability states, if you do not use Arsenal during your activation, you can perform up to 2 attack actions. What this means is that you can run this tank as an artillery piece, allowing you to throw 8 red dice at range 4 every round. Each of those shots get critical 2, which means the first 2 surge rolls, instead of being a blank, convert to a critical hit. It helps bring down how many blanks are on a red die, down to 1 in 8 chance per die for missing. Now the math can be a little bit more complicated than that, but basically you're not going to be missing very often with this gun. Out of 8 dice in a round, you might miss 1. Then it also has a high velocity, meaning your opponent can't use dodges while you're attacking with only this weapon. Very handy when attacking Jedi or units with nimble. After that, you get impact sprinkled on top to help a little bit if you want to shoot at armored units. Don't forget that it's 2 attacks. That means you give out 2 suppression and activation as well. The gun paired with the barrage ability is so good, you can run the tank as is and it will make its points back and how useful it is. But you can still make it better with the upgrades you can put on it, starting with the pilot options. You have Lock Dird for 9 points. You lose AI attack, and you can tap the card to gain suppressive on all your weapons until the end of the activation. So like I was saying earlier with dealing 2 suppression around, you now deal 4 suppression. In one activation, you could panic a unit to drop boxes or do nothing at all. He's also the most expensive choice out of your 3 options. Next is the series pilot, which allows your tank to coordinate droid trooper, which helps solve the problem droid armies have, which is, how do I get orders on all of my units? With the you can start your order chain on the tank and it'll pass to all your other core units. It's handy in lists where you want to take hero units like Dooku and Grievous, dealing orders from command cards. The final option is the T-Series Tactical Droid. You lose AI attack and gain Field Commander, which allows you to run the tank as your commander if you wanted to, and can be used to issue orders from generic command cards like Ambush and Assault. So if your list has a T-Series and an AAT in the same list, you could save yourself 50 points and take this upgrade. If you still want direct, you could put an HQ uplink on a B1 squad for 10 points. Now that frees up points for an operative of your choice or special forces. So all the pilots are strong in their own way. Moving on to missile options, we have bunker buster shells, armor piercing shells, and high energy shells. These upgrades are fairly optional due to how good the main gun is on the tank. These upgrades are for the just in case player. The just in case varies between upgrades, but a main reason would be if you want to do a different action other than shooting for one of your actions. Starting with the weakest of the bunch, we have the high energy shells. Range 2 to 4, 2 red, 1 white, critical 1, high velocity. This is for when you want to shoot targets at long range and they're in cover 2. It increases your dice pool to 6 red, 1 white for 1 attack. The benefit is that if you attack a unit twice in heavy cover, they get to cancel 2 normal hits per attack. So if you only roll hits and no crits, cover takes 4 of your hits. This upgrade makes it only happen once and gives you a slightly better chance of getting critical, but only if you don't hit with all 7 dice. But if you don't hit with all 7 dice, it's the same result as if you just did barrage and you don't give them another suppression. But it frees up your other action, so if you wanted to move, that would allow you to hit a target at range 5 or flank around a target, and since it's high velocity, you can use it with the main gun and your opponent still can't use dodge tokens. It works better on other vehicles. On the AAT, it's a bit overshadowed. Armor piercing shells are the just in case armor option. Range 2 to 3, 2 black, 1 red, impact 3. Their range may require you to get closer, so you could bring more dice into this attack, but if you're worried about dark troopers or tanks of any sort, this will help you kill them faster. But you could argue that you can kill them over the course of the game with your main gun. With Barrage, it's an impact 2 gun with critical increasing your chances as well. If you wanted to save some points, you could leave this one behind, unless you wanted to take it just in case to move and shoot and have a large dice pool. Lastly is the Bunker Buster shells, range 1 to 2, 1 black, 3 white, blast, and scatter. You gain enough dice to make it an 8 dice attack, but with the worst dice in the game. But it balances out with one of the best keywords in the game, blast, which allows you to ignore cover, so any hits you do make go straight to the target. And then the target gets affected by scatter, which allows you to recohere that unit's non-leader minis anywhere, so they can end up out of cover or close to your melee units. The big negative is that it's range 1 to 2, meaning you're only using this if your enemy gets right in your face or you move all the way out to them, which isn't too far off from possible. It may be speed 1, but it's a massive base. Helps it move much further than you'd expect. After the missiles, you have comm upgrades, which most of them you can do without. Some synergize with the pilot, like command control array increasing coordinate range to 2, and HQ uplink letting the tank be the start of your coordinate train. Only other upgrade for this slot would be a link targeting array to get an aim, but with red dice it might not be necessary. It would help guarantee getting all hits, but you could save the upgrade points to go somewhere else or increase your bid. Hopefully this illustrates how good the AAT is, and that's not even going to how you could build your army to make it even better, like adding repair droids to increase its health, and the invasion force letting it take a standby token for free with a command card. So if you're on the fence about getting this tank, you won't regret adding this to your army.